Welcome back to the Lineout Lab. My name is Peter O'Donnell. This is the second part of a series where I'm looking at jumping technique. If you looked at the first video, you would have seen a front-on jump, and in this video, we're going to look at a side-on jump. But before getting into it, if you're new to the channel, please click that like and subscribe button to help the channel grow. I really appreciate it. Your liking and subscribing and sharing really helps grow the video and reach a wider audience, which is why I do this. And one thing that I've really enjoyed doing over the last couple of years, and as I've said before, I'm really committed to doing more videos this year, and your support is very much appreciated, and that, I suppose, liking and subscribing kind of really helps, and sharing, I should say, as well. But let's get into it. So this video is going to look at jumping technique, but from a square on position, side on basically, to the opposition, square onto the opposition, and maybe side onto the hooker. And I mentioned in the previous video about my formula for jumping efficiency, where we looked at knowledge plus timing plus footwork plus accuracy, which includes the jump, throw, and the lift. So that's maybe something, just as I say, that's important for jumping efficiency. You might want to add something else in there for yourself. That's entirely up to you. It's just maybe just to kind of get the juices flowing and the mind thinking. So here's an example of a side on or square on, side onto the hooker, square onto the opposition, and we're looking at jumping technique. And so if we're looking at this person here, there's different things that we can do. We can jump on our front foot, we can jump on our back foot. There's an ever so slight step forward, which I'm going to break down in a little more detail as the video goes on. So essentially what we're looking to do, and I like this one here from Victor Matfield when he's doing some work with the Japanese team there last year, and essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to open our left foot, and well, this example it's our left foot. We're trying to open our foot and our hip and step, and we can do that. We can do that from with a view to jumping on the spot, or if we're going to move forward. In this example, he's looking to move forward. So he opens his foot and the hip, and then that allows him to move towards the jumping spot that he's looking to hit. So that's something that's really, really important. And whether you're moving forward like that example, or whether we're going to jump side on and jump on. Let's say jump on our lane or jump on our channel that we're in, particularly something you might see that if we're equal spaces, or we see that a lot anyway, we're equal spaces. We can use the pitch here as an example, where we can use these lines to help give us feedback, where we want to kind of split the line like we did in the last video I showed, but we can kind of get good feedback on that. And the big thing, as I say, is to try and open up that left foot in this example and plant. Now, as I say, we could jump and on our front foot. So we could jump on our front foot. That is something we can do. I guess going by my logic of why we want to try and jump and land in the same spot is it just builds a bit more consistency for our throwers. We can still do this here, where maybe we're putting more weight in this foot, or we're taking a half step. We absolutely do that if that's something you're trying to achieve. But just as a starting point, when I'm giving players feedback, or not giving, when I'm giving players things to work on, maybe during a preseason where we're talking about splitting the line, or we're trying to jump and land in the same spot, it can be a useful starting point where we have to really, where it really helps build our consistency for the throws in particular. But you can see the first movement really needs to be that left foot. If we jump too soon without opening, then it can get a bit trickier to do that. This is still pretty good. It's still pretty effective, but really, it's more effective if we can open up that left foot first, rather than jumping into a position. So if we were to look at that Victor Matfield one, really look at how he opens up his foot to get into position. So that's kind of a useful cue to use, or that the pitch markings are a useful cue to use. Then, as we want to try and build it up or layer it on, we can factor in a bit of movement where we're trying to move with the foot that's closest in the direction we're going. So in this example, it's his left foot, and the same sort of principle now as the Matfield one. We can start with a jump on the spot. Then we might move to and you can see there, actually, just on that, the big difference in this is that he jumps first, a bit like the last clip I showed you, where he jumps first rather than opening. So he knew it himself, and he kind of laughs. So we've got to open and into a plant. Then we look at our movement, where we're looking to step with the foot that's close in the direction we're going. So watch his left foot here. So again, we watch his left foot now as he looks to move. So he opens. He could open that maybe a little bit more. And that first step, first step is with the foot that's close in the direction we want to go. Sometimes people move, that back foot moves first, and we want to try and avoid that if we can. Some players are pretty good and do it really well, but
I think to really maximize your efficiency, you can see his balance and stability is a little bit off because he's trying to chase it and trying to get to the mark. So it's a little bit of footwork, then timing we have to look at. He gets there, but we're kind of he's a little bit rushed and a little bit off balance, but still not too bad. But as I say, sometimes we don't quite, or if we move that back foot first, we don't quite get. We're not going to be as quick as someone else who moves the other foot, the foot that's close to the direction we go. So that's the worry about doing that. A lot of the times it doesn't matter. As in, I've seen a lot of international and elite players do it where they get away with it, basically. So if you can do it really effectively and really quickly, that's fine. And then in some of those cases where you get away with it, it's often uncontested, or the space is just there, or the speed of the line is quite good. It's not necessarily a technical thing, it's more for other reasons. But then a nice little layer on then. So from using the lines and maybe the cones, then we can make it competitive with the other players. So we can start with a jump on the spot. Again, there's variances in technique. And then maybe where they have to maybe go from 1 step or 2 steps or 3 steps, and as I say, make it a bit more challenging. So this is a nice little exercise to do it. And actually that last one there is a really good example of if someone moves their back foot first. So just there, because this man here moves his back foot first and this man moves his front foot first, he's ahead of him. Now, he doesn't win the race for other reasons, okay? But just to show you the difference on what foot moves first, it can make a huge difference. So look at the guy on the left, moves his right foot, his foot closest to the direction he's going. And look at the guy on the right, and he moves his back foot first, and that goes back. And so there's a huge difference here in terms of winning the race. He's ahead of him, and that's quite a big difference. He chases quite hard, and he could be a little bit quicker than after that. But just to show you why, what the difference can be. So it's quite nice little layer on a progression, jumping on the spot on your using the lines, then maybe using the cone, and then make it competitive. And again, a little reminder why we jump on that in the same spot is to build that consistency for our throwers, our lifters, and also your own balance and stability. And why we split the line is the same sort of reasons. We kind of get good feedback on jumping and landing on the same spot. We also then have different types of jumps where, as I say, we can have a front foot jump, where we can same sort of. Now this, granted, this is from a slight. This is more of a 45-degree setup, which I'll talk about another day. Now you can see his footwork here, the man in the middle. His footwork is back and forward, but he does come forward essentially, and feet come together into a nice plant. So he's a front foot jump, so to speak, and we get another look at it here as well. Another example of it. Going to look at our man here now. This fella here. So look at his feet. Where does he jump? So it's a nice throw jump off the hooker. So he comes forward slightly onto his front foot. Okay, which is fine. We can do that. We can jump. We can jump on our front foot. We can jump on our back foot. We can split the line. Okay, and we're looking at, again, harder to see the footwork here. But essentially, this is a good example of an equal spaces one, where we are jumping and landing on the same spot, and we're in a side-on position. Side-on stroke 45. Feet come together into a plant, and good example of it.
So there we are. Let me know what you think. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share to help the video and the discussion grow, and grow the community for Lineout lovers and Lineout enthusiasts. Excuse me. I'll be doing more videos maybe like this in a presentation format, and also in where you see me standing with the TV in the background. So yeah, I'm open to kind of mixing it up and changing how I do things. So yeah, let me know what you like, what you'd like to do more of. I'd love to hear from you, and let me know what you think. Cool. Thanks, guys.